So, why do I say that you shouldn't care about movie critics? Actually, my teacher always taught me not to be absolute with my sayings, so let's fix that. You can listen to movie critics if you find one that basically shares your views, and you can rely on them to provide a consistent philosophy throughout all their reviews, a philosophy that is familiar to you. In my case, I don't really like critic reviews, and their ratings for movies are most of the time drastically different from mine. I never look at critics' reviews for a movie, but for the purpose of this video, let's do just that, and I'll explain why I dislike them. We'll visit everyone's favorite site, Metacritic. Let's take Life is Beautiful for example. 59 rating. This is actually laughable. IMDb user rating is 8.7 and quote unquote critics on this site gave it an average of 59. Now, I'll admit that most of the reviews are positive. However, there are a few that don't make sense at all. Of course, I always appreciate differences in opinion and congratulate when there is opposition, but I only like it when it is constructive and logical. Of course, I can't see the full reviews because the links are broken, but these synopses are enough for me. The point I think is the sheer callous inappropriateness of comedy existing within the physical reality of the camps, even the imagined reality of a movie. In this climate, turning even a small corner of this century's central horror into a feel good popular entertainment is abhorrent. The indifference of the proceedings and the hero's slapstick behavior to the everyday realities of the camps borders on the nauseating. The director gives us not just a pop holocaust, but a prettified, palatable holocaust. Apparently, these are worth 3 out of 10 or less. Now, these reviews are pretty much the same, but they are rated higher, 5 or 6 out of 10, which I can actually respect because while the reviewer didn't find the movie pleasing, they give it a fair score. You could say that these sentences are correct. Yes, the main topic of the show is one of the worst things in human history, but these people completely misinterpreted why the story is told in such a manner. Sure, tragedy and comedy usually isn't the best pair, yet it's really sad for me to see how one dimensional these reviews are. Apparently, can only make a sad movie about a tragedy, but that's just so basic and childish. Comedy in this movie makes perfect sense and it doesn't belittle this tragedy in any way. I'll explain in a second. First, let's look at those reviews one more time. Prettified, palatable holocaust. Hero slapstick behavior to the everyday realities of the camp's borders. Feel good popular entertainment. Inappropriateness of comedy existing within the physical reality of the camps. Basically, they're saying that comedy and Holocaust is a big no because they think it's some kind of a cheap trick for this movie to be unique, as opposed to sad stories like The Boy in Striped Pajamas or Schindler's List. I respectfully disagree. We were shown this movie in school like 4 times, and after none of those watch sessions did I interpret it as that. In fact, I don't even see anything similar to my interpretation on the positive reviews, which just proves that they're not for me. So, the golden question is why do I think comedy fits in this movie? It's not because I find it uplifting or really humorous, but because it shows that a child's innocence is worth protecting in any circumstances. What a lot of people don't understand, including these critics, is that Life is Beautiful is shown from the child's perspective. Yeah, he wasn't born at the beginning of the movie, but those are just stories his parents would have told him. I know this interpretation is hard to accept, and yet it is the most logical to me. The father tries to spare his kid the horrors of Holocaust, and the fact that the story is told in a comedic way just shows that the effort was worth it. The child comes out of a concentration camp happy, laughing, and he remembers the whole experience in a comedic manner. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it's the way I see it. A kid was not damaged by the horrors around him because his father's best efforts, and that's why life is beautiful. Just a quick ending. Of course, there are different places to find critics' reviews like Rotten Tomatoes, and there the critics' ratings for this movie actually make sense. But when I read even these positive reviews, I just can't relate to 90% of them at all. That's why when I want information on a show or movie, I just go to IMDb and look at the user score there. I may not always agree with it, but for me, it's the most accurate metric of evaluating how good a movie is. Of course, Discord doesn't impact my expectations because I have the mentality not to expect anything, but that's a topic for another time. In summary, don't listen to movie critics. Or do. Do whatever you want.